Goku throws the Spirit Bomb down at Kid Buu, using all of his power to destroy the pure manifestation of evil. Buu then looks up into the sky at the bright ball of energy heading his way, smirking as he plants his feet into the ground. Buu would lift his hands up, putting them out in front of himself, stopping the Spirit Bomb dead in its tracks. Goku attempts to push it further, but he can't. He's got no power left. He's completely exhausted of power, and slowly, Kid Buu begins to push the Spirit Bomb towards Goku. The distance begins to shorten between Goku and the Spirit Bomb, and he can't do a thing about it. Vegeta turns back to Mr. Satan, yelling at him and telling him to get the Earth's people to give some more energy to Kakarot, but he refuses. If they give any more, they'll all likely die of exhaustion. Vegeta knows that all hope is lost now, as the final wish on Piranga had already been foolishly used by Kibito Kai to split himself. With a terrifying roar, Kid Buu then finally pushes the Spirit Bomb into Goku, and the Saiyan screams out as he's completely consumed by it. Vegeta, Fat Buu, and everyone else quickly get on the ground as the Spirit Bomb explodes, creating a huge explosion of energy that forms a giant crater into the planet of the Kais. Shockwaves are sent across the sacred world, forcing everyone to shield themselves. The key from the Spirit Bomb floats in the sky as the smoke from the explosion clears, showing that the Spirit Bomb is gone, and so is Goku. The only thing left as the smoke clears is Kid Buu, who begins to beat at his chest triumphantly at his victory, with everyone else being paralyzed in fear. If even the Spirit Bomb couldn't stop this monster, they were all doomed. Vegeta and Good Buu, in one last-ditch effort to defeat Kid Buu, would power up to their maximum, rushing at the demon. However, the small Majin easily smacked both of them around, knocking both of Vegeta and Good Buu unconscious. Kid Buu would then fly high into the sky, smirking as he lifts a single hand into the air, creating a giant ball with pink energy. Buu would then smirk, thrusting his hand downwards as he threw the key ball down towards the planet. And although everybody tried to deflect it with what little power they had left, it was futile. The Supreme Kai's planet was completely destroyed, killing Vegeta, Dende, Mr. Satan, Kibito, Shin, and by extension, Beerus as well. And because Shin and Beerus are both dead, this would also mean that Whis is inactive. After Buu blows up the world of the Kais, the only one to survive was Good Buu. But now that he was alone, he obviously stands no chance against Kid Buu, and he would soon die to Kid Buu, with every single bit of him being destroyed. Kid Buu, now having nobody to control him, began destroying every single planet he came across, killing everything and everyone. His only thoughts were about destruction. The first two planets that Buu destroyed were Earth and Namek. The fighters left on Earth were not ready, completely unaware of what was happening until it was too late, as Kid Buu blew the Earth to bits with a single attack. Namek had no way to fight back either, so this meant that there were 0 Z fighters left to fight or even have a chance of defeating Kid Buu, with both Namek and Earth being gone. This also means that there are no more Dragon Balls left besides the Cerealian Dragon Balls and the Super Dragon Balls. However, nobody knows that those exist. Buu's rampage would go across the entire universe, as nobody was able to stop his demonic strength. He'd rampage through multiple galaxies, destroying them quickly, as every planet and star system in his way was wiped out, as though they never existed to begin with. Buu would eventually find planet Cereal, destroying it from space, like he normally did with the worlds he found. Even if Buu decided to, for some reason, go on the ground and kill everyone, Granola is not stopping Buu. Before Granola made his wish in the manga, at a highball, he would be as powerful as First Form Frieza from Namek. So Granola, Monaito, and Planet Cereal are destroyed, along with their set of Dragon Balls. The Heaters would not be safe either, as eventually they would be found and annihilated without a trace by Buu. Although Gas would try his best to fight, it was futile, as he would get completely destroyed by Kid Buu. One fateful day, Buu would come across the Galactic Patrol. He would tear through many different sectors and patrol stations before managing to finally find the main headquarters with the highest security prison in Universe 7. Upon being alerted that the chaotic Majin Buu had found their main base, every Galactic Patrol ship began making their way there in hopes of stopping him, with Merus panicking, hoping that he could make it there in time. Majin Buu completely destroyed the headquarters, resulting in the death of most people there. All of the Galactic Patrol henchmen there were killed, with nearly all of the prisoners dying as well. But this also resulted in the freedom of the prisoners strong enough to survive the assault, this being Moro in 7-3. Moro, despite still being old and weak, was very powerful. Upon seeing that two individuals managed to survive his assault, Buu would charge at them, beginning his fight with Moro in 7-3. Considering the fact that in the manga Moro was able to handle fighting a Super Saiyan God Vegeta before he even began to use his magic, Moro would definitely overpower Buu, with 7-3 assisting him. But keep in mind as well, this is not the Fat Buu that fought Moro canonically. This is Kid Buu, with his godly powers still intact. Although Kid Buu was simply fighting like a chaotic madman, and fighting Moro seemed to draw something out of him. This goat mane felt familiar, though he had no clue why. The godly ki inside of Buu began to manifest as Moro overpowered him, resulting in Kid Buu turning the tides of the fight into his favor. Buu would keep 7-3 at bay as well, meaning he wouldn't be able to copy his abilities. Due to Buu's strange body and his magic abilities, he would completely shift the battle into his favor as the battle progressed. Keep in mind too that this is Moro after just being freed from prison. There were no planets nearby for Moro to steal power from, and keep in mind too that Moro's powers are completely useless against Buu. We saw this in the manga when he fought against Fat Buu, and I see no reason as to why that'd be different against Kid Buu. With all of that in mind, on top of the fact that Kid Buu's godly powers are awakening here, Moro would quickly become desperate, absorbing 7-3. Moro would gain a boost in power, his appearance changing as well. Kid Buu, upon seeing this, would begin to beat his chest before rushing to Moro. Kid Buu's expression would quickly shift into one of anger as he realized he was being overpowered once again, even with his godly strength awakened. Obviously, this Moro was nowhere near as powerful as the one in canon, as he hasn't been able to go around and devour planets, nor has he absorbed anyone's energy, such as Goku or Vegeta's here. Despite this, I believe absorbing 7-3 would give him the boost he needs to finally overpower Kid Buu, even with the godly power being awakened from him. Moro would then manage to grab the back of Buu's neck as he gained his abilities. The two would clash across the vast emptiness of space, with Moro taking advantage of his new powers. Moro noticed that his body was quite strange now, being able to change into all kinds of shapes for combat purposes, as he now had the powers of Buu's strange body. Buu would begin to use more of his powers as well, splitting into clones, shape-shifting, doing anything in his power to fend Moro off, clearly being desperate as he himself was put into a corner. But the one thing going for Buu was that the gap in their power was not enough for Moro to eradicate Buu in one attack. As Moro would beat down on Buu, Merus finally arrives. He would be saddened and angered, knowing that many of his fellow patrolmen are gone, along with seeing the main person behind all of this devastation, Buu. Merus would be conflicted, however, he knows that he has to intervene. If there's any chance of this universe being able to prosper again, he will get involved, even if it means he'll be erased from existence. Buu and Moro would be confused by this new person who has just arrived, shocked as they're both knocked away from the man. A halo would form around Merus as he activates his angel powers, slowly beginning to fade away as he fights the duo. Due to the nature of Buu's abilities and how hard he was to kill, Merus decides to go after him second, knocking the small Majin away with a powerful kick, sending Buu light years away. Merus would now focus on Moro, deciding he was the most dangerous one and needed to go first. Despite Moro splitting into clones and trying to get away from this powerful patrolman with his new abilities from Buu, Merus is able to find his real body. Desperately, Moro would attempt to grab Merus' neck and copy his powers too, but Merus would slice his arm off with his staff before it could reach him. Realizing that Moro can copy abilities, Merus would decide to use his powers as he shatters Moro's crystals across his hands and forehead, sealing away his copy ability forever as he fades away into nothing. Merus, despite Universe 7 being in this horrible situation, was hopeful that one day they could find a way to prosper once again, and as he fades away, Buu would return, looking for the strange blue man who hurt him. However, he doesn't see Merus anymore, and only Moro. Moro would still overpower Buu, however, Moro would be put on the back foot again. Moro couldn't access his copied abilities anymore, and would never be able to copy people again. On top of this, Moro still can't use his magic on Kid Buu. Despite Kid Buu being a madman, he had the sense to try something different this time as he fought Moro, deciding to surround Moro with multiple clones as he fought. Although Moro is more powerful than Buu here still, with Merus sealing away his copy abilities forever, this means he had no way to counteract Buu as he began to clone himself more and more to fight. And as Moro began to get overwhelmed more and more by Buu, the small Majin would take advantage of this, surrounding Moro completely on all sides. All of the Buus then shifted in shape as they lunged towards Moro, enveloping him as Buu would absorb Moro. Buu would laugh as he takes victory, beating his chest as he grew in size, his appearance changing as he now had the powers of Moro. Buu would now continue his rampage, destroying the last remnants of the Galactic Patrol as though they never existed at all. Buu's rampage would continue throughout space, with only one thing remaining, although in very small numbers: the Frieza Force. Led by Berry Blue and Sorbet, the Frieza Force had been searching for people who might be strong enough to defeat Kid Buu, managing to actually find Planet Vampa, which was one of the last worlds untouched by the Majin. The Frieza Force sends a couple ships down towards the planet, where they see two figures running towards them. Paragus is ecstatic to see that they're finally saved, and quickly calls for Broly. By this point in the story, I don't think Paragus would have hit his rapid aging yet, so he wouldn't have his gray hair yet. However, he is very close to it. Sorbet, along with Shisumi and Tagoma, step out of the ship, surprised to see two Saiyans on the planet. They scan their power levels, and although Paragus' strength isn't anything too crazy, Broly's is an entirely different case. They immediately bring the two Saiyans onto the ship, taking them off of Planet Vampa as they inform the two about the threat of Buu. Paragus isn't really excited about being with the Frieza Force again, however, he's at least happy to be off of Vampa for the first time in decades. Paragus and Broly Broly would be given some new clothes, where Paragus asks Sorbet about the Saiyans and if the king is still alive, to which he is then informed about how Planet Vegeta was destroyed by a meteor, something that Paragus already knew. They would lie about the fact that Frieza destroyed Planet Vegeta, as they desperately needed the help of these two Saiyans. Paragus was then surprised, as he was informed of more. He would be told that Prince Vegeta and another Saiyan were killed by this monster called Majin Buu, who's been terrorizing the universe for a little while now. Even though Paragus would want to use his son for his own gains, the king and the prince are dead, so there's no point in that. Although he's reluctant to, Paragus decides to let the Frieza Force train Broly, so that he'll be ready to face the demon when he inevitably finds them. It was a good choice to get the two Saiyans off of Vampa as well, because a week or so after they found Broly, on one of the ship's radars, they would scan that Vampa has been annihilated. Buu found and destroyed planet Vampa, like he had done to many before it. So for a short while, the Frieza Force trains Broly. Although I can't even really say this was training for Broly himself. Tagoma and Shisumi would just try and fight Broly, to which they're just beaten around. Pretty much like how Frieza trained himself in Resurrection F. This would repeat for a few weeks or so, until one day, their ships would arrive on an icy planet to gather some materials. As they got out of the ship, Sorbet points to something in the distance. There's a pink light getting brighter and bigger. Buu has finally found them. Immediately, they begin to prepare, and Buu would arrive above the planet's atmosphere. Like he's done with many planets before, he creates a ball of energy, throwing it down towards the world. However, Broly would retaliate with a mouth blast of his own. Broly's beam would shoot through Kid Buu's, almost hitting him. However, he manages to maneuver out of the way. Angered, Buu would fly down to the planet, wanting to find out who did that. Upon landing, he sees someone flying towards him. Paragus commanded Broly to destroy Buu for them, with Broly landing down in front of Buu, staring at the Majin. Buu screams out as he charges at Broly, punching the Saiyan. Broly's actually surprised as he feels the impact of the punch, being sent back. The Saiyan would then yell out as he charges forward, clashing with Buu. Buu begins to use the abilities he's obtained from absorbing Moro, draining the energy from the planet as he also drained Broly's power. Broly's power would begin to spike as his growth begins to accelerate, gaining power quicker than Buu could siphon it. Buu, however, would still have the advantage, knocking Broly around. Broly would get more and more angry as he fought, mad at the fact he was being overpowered by this guy and how annoying he was to fight. A green aura surrounds Broly as he powers up, going into Ikari, as the collar around his neck shatters, clashing with Buu once again. Paragus and the rest of the Frieza Force would begin to panic as the planet trembled from their fight, with Paragus realizing Broly couldn't be controlled anymore. Broly's power would spike even further as he fights against Buu, with Buu simply laughing maniacally as he drained more power from Broly and the planet itself. Buu would raise his hand, the core of the planet they were on beginning to swell, with lava shooting out and breaking through the icy continent. Broly flares his ki, his aura pushing the lava away from him, but he turns, hearing someone yelling from nearby. Buu laughs, knowing this planet is doomed to explode now. The lava bursting from the core would envelop the ships the Frieza Force had on the planet, and Broly would watch on in terror as Paragus was consumed in a plume of lava, along with everyone else he had come to know over these past weeks. Broly's power would spike as he transforms into a Super Saiyan, his aura flaring and the entire planet has a green glow emanating from it now. Buu simply cackled like a madman, looking up at the green pillar of light in front of his eyes. As Broly exits from the massive green pillar of light, Buu would launch a ki blast towards him. Broly simply deflects it, with a nearby planet exploding into nothing. The two then charged towards each other, with Buu and Broly clashing as the planet began to explode around them. Broly was clearly overpowering Buu now, with every punch tearing bits of the Majin off. However, Buu would laugh as he simply regenerates every time he's damaged. The planet below them would finally crumble, exploding as they were sent thousands of miles away from each other. Broly had a barrier of ki surrounding himself, allowing him to breathe as he charged towards Buu. He slams into the Majin, pummeling the pink devil around. Buu would attempt to absorb more of Broly's power as he got smacked around, however, this does not go well for him. Broly was already growing at a rate faster than Buu could siphon his power, and Broly's powerful ki would cause Buu's body to swell up as he absorbs more and more. Broly would continue to get more enraged and angry as the fight went on, losing himself completely. Buu would be sent flying back as Broly's aura flared, turning green along with his hair as he entered into his full power form, a faint green glow encompassing the dead universe. Buu would split himself into many different clones, attempting to use his candy beam on Broly. However, the barrier surrounding the Saiyan didn't even budge from the candy beam. Every punch that Broly would throw one-shots all the Buus that attack him, with the Saiyan roaring out as he went completely mad, destroying Buu after Buu. In a desperate attempt to survive Broly's onslaught, Buu would attempt to absorb Broly completely, as siphoning his power would not be enough to win here. Every Buu that Broly would destroy would then split into 2, then 4, multiplying until a planet-sized colony of Buus surrounded the green-haired Saiyan. Broly would be overwhelmed by the many different versions of Buu, becoming consumed as he tried to blast his way out. Buu's body would swell up even more, and he laughed at his victory. Though, Buu felt weird, starting to glow green. Suddenly, Buu would implode, screaming out as every bit of him was destroyed by Broly's ki. Broly's rising power was so pure and toxic to the Majin that simply trying to absorb absorb him resulted in his own death, with Buu basically dying from the inside as he imploded from Broly's overwhelming ki. To completely finish Buu off, Broly would roar as he fires a mouth blast that completely encompasses Buu, eradicating the Majin without a trace as the blast would fly off, eradicating everything in its path. Broly breathes heavily, losing his power as he fell back to base, unconscious. He would soon die to suffocation as his body floats to the cold, lonely depths of space. With this final fight between the strongest warriors in the universe, concluding in both the deaths of Broly and Buu, Universe 7 was now truly empty, completely barren. Any life or solar activity that managed to survive throughout this time in Universe 7 had been wiped out completely during the immense battle between Broly and Buu, with Zeno finally deciding to take action. Universe 7 was then deleted from existence by the Omni King, disappointed at how things had turned out. And now, this is where the story of What-If Kid Buu Won shall come to an end. Although I've never really covered what-ifs like this that have very dark endings, with some what-if scenarios, it's bound to happen when the villains win. If you disagreed with some aspects of this, or believe some things would have gone entirely differently, leave your thoughts in the comments down below. I'd love to hear what all of you think, as this was personally just the way I believe this story would have unfolded if Kid Buu won. If you'd like to see more videos from me, remember to like and subscribe. I've got a Patreon now, along with a YouTube membership set up, so if you'd like to go the extra mile in supporting me, those options are available for you. You do get some perks like being able to see stuff like this early, should you decide to become a member. Both are in the description, and I don't really have anything else to say. I hope all of you out there enjoy yourselves, and I'll see you all next time.